using the mines so many years ago.
You raise, I think, a very interesting point, and that is the need for more resources to better train these firefighters in this new environment. One of the frustrations your brethren expressed to me yesterday is they know for a fact there was not enough respiration equipment supplied downtown. I mean, how frustrated are you by the state in which firefighters all over the country operate today?
Well, the first
particularly in urban areas, you know, the areas
right.
probably that'll be the most likely obvious targets.
Well, that's the thing I do want to make clear. New York has the finest fire department, really, I think, in this country. And nothing could prepare any department, equipment or otherwise, for the horrific, unbelievable tragedy that we saw unfold Tuesday morning. Having said that, the fact of the matter is that we have far too many departments all over North America, the United States and Canada, that do not have adequate resources, that are not staffed properly, are not receiving some of the training that they should be provided, and certainly in this country by a federal government who rightfully and understandably is now providing hundreds of millions and billions of dollars toward this issue of terrorism. And the Patriots, these amazing people in America's fire service that are on the front lines, understand that we have to have money for security, money for intelligence, money for tactical operations, and all the things that we've been listening to for the last several days. But we need this government to ensure that the firefighters in this nation also are given the training and the resources and opportunity to do their job better, but more importantly, to do their job in a more safe environment and to have a better opportunity to survive such a calamitous incident that we've watched in these last 4 days.
Harold, I just have time for one last question. How stinging of a wake-up call is this?
Well, I think the world is numb from, in many ways, I guess, from the government throughout all of our society. I think it's going to take some days to really understand the now hundreds of firefighters that we have lost in this one incident. And we're going to have to, in their honor, for their sacrifice, see that when we evaluate all the various aspects of response from this government at all levels, that we focus on a nation's first responders who are going to be there within those first couple of minutes of every disaster in the future.
Harold, you must be heartened, though, by the news that more than 1 million New Yorkers are expected to attend a memorial service on September 23rd in Central Park to honor those who have lost their lives and, like I said earlier, those who continue to fight to save our lives.
It will give our people a lot of energy. This is going to be a long, long haul right now. I mean, this is going to take weeks
Harold,
and weeks.
Okay, carry on. Sorry to cut you off.
Just still going to take weeks to even begin to think about bringing this incident to any kind of closure. Such a service can certainly not only go to provide that honor, but it will give the men and women that are out there on that rubble pile, working around the clock, a lot of energy.
Well, I don't mean to be presumptuous, but I think I can feel entirely comfortable saluting you all on all Americans' behalf. Thank you very much for the very dangerous and important work you do.
Well, God bless all the firefighters, and please keep all of those in New York that are working safe.
Thank you. I wanted to share with you now an extremely powerful image. This is a shot taken by a photographer downtown showing firefighters sort of in the ground zero area, raising the American flag. Of course, I think what this brings to mind to many of you is that shot of Iwo Jima that is seared into the national consciousness. Right now, we are going to head back to Washington, D.C., where John King is standing by. Hi again, John.
Hello to you, Paula. We are told the president, who is up at the Camp David Presidential Retreat, will be meeting with his national security team in about 30 minutes. Our Kelly Wallace, keeping track of him up at Camp David this weekend, will bring you the details of that as soon as possible. I want to take you back now quickly to perhaps the signature moment of the president's trip to New York yesterday in delivering a pep rally to the firefighters and other relief workers there at the scene of the devastation, the site where the World Trade Towers once stood. The president, in his pep talk, also delivered a promise that once he knows who is responsible, he will try to hold them accountable.
America today is on bended knee in prayer for the people whose lives were lost here, for the workers who work here, for the families who mourn. This nation stands with the good people of New York City and New Jersey and Connecticut as we mourn the loss of thousands of our citizens. I can hear you. I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon. The nation sends its love and compassion. God bless America! To everybody who is here. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for making the nation proud.
Now, the president said later in a conversation with reporters that the administration had a suspect. Aides later amended that, saying they weren't certain there was a single suspect yet. But as we've watched and listened to the president this week, can't help but draw a parallel to a little more than 2 years ago. At that time, Osama bin Laden, blamed by the U.S. government for the bombing of 2 U.S. embassies in Africa. President Clinton approved a military retaliation that included launching roughly 75 cruise missiles. Listen now, President Bill Clinton, August 1998, in the Oval Office.
It will require strength, courage, and endurance. We will not yield to this threat. We will meet it, no matter how long it may take. This will be a long, ongoing struggle between freedom and fanaticism, between the rule of law and terrorism. We must be prepared to do all that we can for as long as we must.
It is that experience, the Clinton administration action, now viewed by many as a failure, guiding President Bush as he meets with his national security team, trying to plan what we are told could be both an immediate and then a long-term military response to these terrorist strikes. Now to Miles O'Brien in Atlanta.
All right, thank you very much, John. President Bush has declared a state of national emergency, and he has authorized the Defense Department to call up as many as 50,000 reservists for so-called Homeland Defense. The personnel will be drawn from all branches of the Reserve and National Guard Armed Forces. CNN's Leon Harris joins us from Fort Benning in Columbus, Georgia, for the latest on the military and the preparedness. What's the mood there, Leon?
Well, Miles, as you might expect, it's pretty serious here. The mood is very serious. We are at just outside of Fort Benning. It's about maybe 2 miles back up that way from where we are right now. The location we happen to be at right now is a place called Ranger Joe's. You see it here behind me. This is a place we're told that most folks that come to town here, it's sort of the place you have to go to buy supplies for those who are attending any of the infantry schools, any infantry training there at Fort Benning, rather, which is known as the home of the infantry. And what we were trying to do was trying to find either some soldiers or some retirees or guardsmen or whatever, or maybe just civilians to talk to them. And we have found that generally those who are still serving right now don't want to talk. They say they don't want to give away anything, and they've been told to be very careful what they say to us. But we have been lucky enough to find a couple of gentlemen who just stopped by here, who happen to be traveling. I guess you have 2 gentlemen who are visiting here. We're joined here by, we've got Rick Reed, who was a Green Beret Delta Force who served during Desert Storm, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Ray Houghton, who's a Combat Army chaplain also, who served during Desert Storm, a Bronze Star recipient, I might add, as well. Now, you gentlemen say that when you first heard about this, you were actually on the beach, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so what are you doing here now?
We just, we've come here to buy a flag we haven't been able to find a flag, and maybe buy some T-shirts or something to show our support and patriotism.
Yeah. Well, what do you make of what you've seen so far as patriotism goes? We talked about this a minute ago. You were saying.
Well, we were saying that it's just such a warm feeling to go through little towns in Georgia coming here, and there's flags all over the place. And I mean, the people are coming together.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to disappoint you, but I'm going to have to tell you, you're going to have to wait a while for flags. We were just inside. They told us that they're going to get a new shipment in. They've been out of flags for a day now, and they should be getting another shipment in sometime this afternoon, this mid-afternoon. Are you willing to stick around and wait?
I think so. We're going to wait around and see if we can find a flag. We want to fly it on our automobile that we can stick in the windshield or, the side window, and show our patriotism. And everywhere I go, people, when they see our caps, they want to talk to us and want to know what we think about it and how we feel about the whole situation. It's a horrific thing. Somehow it's taken this to bring us all together, but my sentiments are to the families that are grieving and hurting.
Now, Rick, let me ask you this, because
yes,
you told us coming in here that you actually served in a unit that was actually in charge of going out and looking for terrorists.
Special Forces, Delta Force, yes,
now,
sir.
How far do you think President Bush should be pursuing this? How far do you think that the U.S. should actually be pushing the envelope on this?
It's going to be not just shooting missiles. We're going to have to put people on the ground. We're going to have to go find some people.
You think there's enough support for that? You don't think that...
I think this country's ready to get over what has happened since Tuesday.
Yeah. Now, you made a comment, Ray, a moment ago, and I want you to share with the folks who are watching this morning. You said something about 40s era or 40s vintage patriotism.
Yeah, my daddy's a war veteran, World War II veteran. He's since passed. And I have a coffee clutch back in the little small town I live in, and we talk about issues about our patriotism and about how people think about our country today. And I find myself being able to commensurate with those World War II veterans and those men who fought so gallantly and during the 40s, and that they feel as I feel, that for God and country, and that we need to stand up for what is right and be mentors to our children and those young people who are coming along today.
Now, what about in this past week and the experiences that you've had and the people that you two have talked to in your journeys back to get to this point? Do you notice that happening with people of other generations?
Everybody we've talked to is ready. They feel a patriotism coming on that they can't explain, and it's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah. Well, we sure thank you for sharing your feelings with us, and we'll be waiting around to see if you stick around and get your flags.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rick Reed and Ray Howden. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Miles, this is indicative and pretty much, the same kind of thing that we've been hearing all throughout the morning. We're going to stick around and try to go back inside and talk to some more people. There's a lady inside whose husband has just come out of jump school here, and she was actually a little bit more than nervous about things right now. We're going to go inside and talk with her next time we get a chance to talk with you, Miles. Back to you.
Leon, just a little while ago, we were talking to General Wesley Clark, who was giving us some insights on the military thinking right now. And when you start looking at Osama bin Laden and no less than a dozen terrorist training camps inside Afghanistan, it raises the distinct possibility of some kind of ground troop effort ultimately whenever that objective is defined. Is that the sense you're getting there, that this is something that ultimately will involve folks at Fort Benning, or at least their colleagues who get on the ground?
Miles, I do get that sense, but I can't say much more than that because they won't talk. That's just how seriously these people here are taking this, and just how well they're girding themselves for what's to come. These people here are already on I don't want to jump the gun and say they're already on a war footing, but you know what? They're pretty close to it. They're taking this situation very seriously, and to a man, everyone we've talked to so far has said that the U.S. should go as far as it takes.
Now, give us a sense of the security around Fort Benning there. I know you're familiar with the area. We're at a high level of, used to be called DEFCON, they call it ThreatCon now. Did you notice anything different as you approached the base?
Well, what we've noticed so far is that it takes forever to get to the base. As a matter of fact, the two gentlemen we were just talking with, they're retirees, and they generally have access to the base anytime they want to go. All they have to do is show their identification. But now the process to get in involves hours. You hear me? Hours of security clearances and searches and checks of information and checking out of your body and your vehicles and that sort of thing. I heard yesterday, I heard a report that coming in here, we heard that it took up to 3 hours for one single person to make it all the way through the security gauntlet to get inside. And right now, everything is totally closed down.
Leon Harris will be checking in with you all throughout the day. Thanks very much. Here are the latest developments for you just to bring you up to date on things.